I keep talking about different driving behaviors and car stereotypes. Today's topic brings them all together, if just for one brief moment. A brilliant invention that seems very simple in theory, but still goes over so many people's heads. Dear viewers, I bring you the roundabout. We've had these things in Europe forever. I'd say in Finland we actually got them relatively late, at least compared to Sweden. The first one here in Vasa was completed just before I got my driver's license back in 2005. Back then you could really tell it was a new thing. People were very insecure about these things, so it often felt like it did more harm than good. They have since upgraded it with a bypassing ramp, and people are way better at using them than they used to be. After this, we've gotten quite a few more, so they are pretty common now. So why do some people still struggle to use them properly? Single lane roundabouts are about as simple as they come. If there are crosswalks at the entrances or exits, you have to be mindful of light traffic. Otherwise, just avoid traffic from the left when entering and indicate to the right just before you exit. They actually tested these in Mythbusters back in 2013. They had drivers who likely had never even seen a roundabout, and after just a 30-minute introduction they saw a 20% increase in traffic flow compared to a traditional 4-stop intersection. And this from people who had probably never even seen a roundabout before.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Totally.
Confirmed.
Time to adopt it, America!
Here we got introduced to them in driving school, but sadly driving school doesn't reduce selfish behaviors. Every day I spot a few drivers who just skip the indicator use, making it just a bit harder for everyone else. I actually tried setting up a camera at a few of these to observe how good people are at using their indicators. Sadly, I did not like what I saw. Habitual indicator neglect all over. I don't even care if nobody sees you indicate, you should still indicate, just to avoid developing this habit of ignoring it. Yes, indicator neglect is annoying, but in roundabouts it's usually not dangerous. There are a few behaviors that are though, but luckily these are pretty rare, but they do still happen. One I've seen a few times is stopping to give way to entering traffic, ignoring one of the fundamental principles of the roundabout. I've seen it happen right in front of me, so I've had to slam on the brakes and righteously honk at them. Cars have also stopped to give way to me when I've stopped at an entrance. At this point, I've honked and tried to frantically wave them by, but nowadays I just floor it instead, hoping they will get moving once I'm clear. No, they didn't inconvenience me personally, but it always rubs me the wrong way when people mess with the traffic flow. It wastes time, brakes, fuel and tires. And there is no upside. Don't stop in the middle of a roundabout. One other thing that's quite common is people misjudging when to enter. So many times the entrance is blocked by a compact crossover who gets plenty of gaps but never goes for them, so the queue behind them just keeps growing. Not all of these gaps are misjudged, of course. As I said earlier, indicator neglect is way too common, and it makes it way harder to judge these gaps. Then, when these roadblocks have waited long enough, they just get frustrated and just go anyway and cut someone off while they're doing it. Good times. Then there is the most risky part, the crosswalks. There are clear rules of giving way to light traffic when navigating roundabout exits and entrances with crosswalks. I luckily rarely see people misuse these, but it does happen from time to time, just like with crosswalks on regular streets. Just hope there isn't a long line of kindergarten kids going over during rush hour. That will lead to a clogged roundabout. Luckily, these clogs are usually fixed by themselves quite smoothly and quickly. Then there are the multi-lane roundabouts. We don't have any true two-lane ones in my town, but there is one that was completed about 6 years ago. Back then I thought it was a dumb idea because it essentially just slowed down the entrance and exit to the highway south of the city. But I have since changed my mind. This used to be just 2 straight lanes at the end of the highway with a couple of ramps to go on and off, but now it's a 4-way roundabout. The parts that used to be dual lane are still a dual lane, and the crossing points are single lane. I dreaded the chaos this complexity would cause among drivers here, but I was pleasantly surprised at how fast they adapted. Essentially, you just pick a lane at the entrance and stay within it till you exit. The signs clearly tell the options of each lane. Of course, plenty of people have trouble sticking to their own lane, but that's mostly a minor inconvenience. Granted, it still slows down the traffic going on and off the highway, but it's pretty minor, and now the ambulances coming from the south have a much shorter way to the hospital, so it's all good. Finally, there are the places where you're actually really glad they built a roundabout. This one here is in front of the railway station right next to the city center. Just a few years ago, it used to be a weird, messy 4-way intersection with traffic lights and triangles. The traffic flow was horrible. It was a place that I preferred to avoid, but now it's clear and buttery smooth. It does get a bit slow when trains arrive. People cross the crosswalks in masses and a ton of cars leave the station all at once. But I'd say it's well worth the trade-off. So yeah, roundabouts are awesome. They greatly reduce fatalities and enhance traffic flow. If people just started paying more attention and stopped being so selfish, they would be just about perfect. Have a good one.